Shuckalugga kapow. How's it going, old schoolers? You're kicking it old school at Russell J.S., and I am your host, Russell J.S. Back for another track versus track, track by track, album versus album. And who do I got? I got two great albums, two of my favorite albums from two of my favorite bands. And this is going to be somewhat hard, because there are great tracks on both these albums, but I guess it'll be whichever album has the higher points is gonna, take the win. We've got You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, the hottest band in the world, Kiss Destroyer versus On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Here they are from New York City, Blue Oyster Cult Spectres. Now, I have pinned this before in the past, this one right here in particular, against Kiss. And they beat Kiss on that one. Now, Kiss, you probably think, oh, you must not love Kiss all that much. No, I do. But, sometimes that's what happens is, it's based on musicianship and the songwriting and everything. But let's go ahead because I've written down some more track by tracks that I have planned. Let's see what happens. Will Kiss take a second win? Because if you remember, Love Gun went up against Dirty Deeds and won. Destroyer went up against. What did Destroyer go up against? If this is going to be a second time around, I went back to the video and yeah, Kiss went up against somebody else and lost. But this is my favorite Kiss, one of my favorite Kiss albums. So without further ado, let's get these bad Oscars a rolling, shall we? Okay. In the matter of Destroyer versus Spectres, Detroit Rock City against Godzilla. Boy, I've said before how much I do love Godzilla, but I love Detroit. But you know what? I do love Detroit Rock City more than Godzilla, so BOC. Actually, I love them both, so BOC and Kiss get a point. Let's see, King of the Nighttime World versus Golden Age of Leather. King of the Nighttime World is good. I love it. But once again, I got to go with the Golden Age of Leather. God of Thunder versus Death Valley Nights. Okay, here's where I got the issue because God of Thunder is a really great song written by Paul Stanley, but it was tailor fit for Gene Simmons. It's basically his persona in a nutshell. And Death Valley Nights, I've mentioned before how much I love that tune as well. So I have to, you know what? To not give myself any kind of mental or emotional injury, I'm going to point them both. Okay. Great Expectations versus Searching for Celine. Easy. I've said before about how much I love that song, so Searching for Celine gets that point. Flaming Youth versus Fireworks. I'm going with Flaming Youth. Sweet Pain versus Are You Ready to Rock? Yeah, Are You Ready to Rock is not one of my most favorite BOC. It's one of my least favorites. So Kiss gets the point there. Shout It Out Loud versus Celestial the Queen. I definitely have to go with Shout It Out Loud. Beth versus Going Through the Motions. It's okay. It's a little bit on the soft side, and so is Beth, but you know what? Beth is one of those power ballads that I actually learned how to appreciate it. And it's about, a guy in a rock and roll band. He wants to get with his girl, but he is busy with the band because they want to be successful and they want to make it rich and he wants to buy her everything. So therefore, I'm going with Beth. Do You Love Me versus I Love the Night. Well, I think Do You Love Me is basically Paul Stanley just spewing his real life persona, his real life ego. I'm not a big fan of it, except it's got thunderous drums. That's all I could give it. And I've talked about I Love the Night, where Buck Dharma's doing that Robbie Krieger thing. So BOC gets a point. Okay, Blank Space versus, because Destroyer only has 9 tracks and Spectres has 10 tracks. So I'm going to say Blank Space. Blank Space versus Nosferatu. I have to go with Nosferatu. And where we're at right now, it is tied. Destroyer versus Spectres. I do not have a quarter on me, so we're going to do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the tiger by the toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Well, BOC once again wins. So there you have it right there. Was a tie, but we had to go ahead and do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo routine. And like I said, I've got more videos on the way. As soon as I get done with this video, I'm going to do another quit. They should have quit while they were ahead when it comes to movie franchises. And I think this one you'll probably agree with, but if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets, everybody and anybody. And let's get this channel built up. I got more stuff in the works. I know I haven't done monthly narc yet, and well, it's been a long while. I've just been so busy with things, where I've only had time to do Kicking It Old School, and I wanted to do the weekly JS, and because I haven't been doing those videos monthly or weekly, I have to title it something else once again. But remember, keep kicking it old school. Keep, listen to old school music of the past decades. Play some Atari, play some Nintendo, play some ColecoVision and Television, Odyssey, Vectrex, Sega, whatever old school consoles you desire. Watch some old school movies, watch some old school TV shows. Keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it chill. Get you enough of less chaos, no chaos. Get you enough of love, more love, multiple love. Get you enough of less drama or no drama. And Godspeed. May the force be with you always. And shuckalacka kapow.